What's up guys, Joe at Driven Films here, and today I'm bringing you episode number 2 of my How to Film Cars Like a Pro series. This episode, we're going to be doing a color grading breakdown for this Cadillac CTS-V spec ad that I shot. If you haven't seen it yet, go back and watch my video editing breakdown for this very ad that we're about to do some color grading on. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on episode number 3, where I do a sound design breakdown. But for now, let's jump into Davinci Resolve and start grading. Alright guys, I'm here in Davinci Resolve 16, and what we're going to do here in the second episode of the series is break down the color grading for this project. Now, I'm not going to go over every single shot, but what I will do is go through some key shots from the video and show how I graded them by doing a node-by-node breakdown and giving you guys a few tips and tricks along the way that's going to help take your color grading in Davinci Resolve to the next level. Now, if you are not grading in Davinci Resolve yet, I highly suggest you check it out. It's a free program, and if you want to use the studio version, it's only $300. I'll be sure to put a link to both the free and studio versions in the description below. Now, I do highly recommend you take the next step and get into Davinci Resolve because it's going to take your color grading to the next level, and it opens up a whole new set of possibilities. And once you get past the initial confusion of a node-based workflow, Resolve does become a very powerful program, so I highly recommend you guys check it out. So we're going to jump into the very first shot here, and this is actually what I consider my favorite shot of the entire video. And I shot this on a Zcam E2S6 in ZLog 2. And I wanted to show you guys the node breakdown for this and show you that it's not a very complex shot overall. But before I do that, I do want to bypass the grade and show you what the shot looks like before we start doing any grading. Now that we see the shot straight out of camera, I do want to show you guys the node tree and show you that it's a pretty simple node tree from the start. So I'm going to break this down node by node and show you what I do to basically build this grade node by node. And the very first thing I do with any shot is I just overall will look at the shot and assess what needs to be done. And the first thing I know that needs to be done is I need to add some contrast. I need to do a conversion to get the colors right. But I also will zoom in and I notice that there is some noise in the trees here, there's some noise in the shadows. So the first thing I'll do is I will attack the noise reduction. Now, it's very important to note that noise reduction does not come in the free version of Davinci Resolve. It does come in the studio version only. The noise reduction in Resolve, I find, is extremely powerful and overall performs better than any of the third-party plugins that I've seen out there. But the noise reduction in Davinci Resolve is here on the panel in motion effects, and you can use either temporal noise reduction or spatial noise reduction. Now for this shot, I did choose to go with temporal noise reduction, and I just set the motion estimation type to better just to give it the best possible result, and I just bumped up the temporal threshold here for Luma and Chroma. I kept them linked together because I felt that it gave the best overall look. And now the reason why I do my noise reduction node first is because it gives me a cleaner image to pull keys from at a later point. So keys are basically selections that you make to do things like adjust skin tones or certain areas of an image or aspects of an image. So the very next thing I'll do for a shot, whether it's a Blackmagic Pocket 4K or Zcam Red, whatever it is, I will do a Rec 709 conversion. And the way we do a conversion with ZLog or Zcam footage is we use a plugin called ZLog Color. And right off the bat, you'll see here the ZLog Color plugin is on this separate node here, but I'm going to show you exactly how we do that by adding another node. And you see here in your open effects, and this is a free plugin from Zcam. I'm going to put a link to it in the description, but you just simply drag and drop the ZLog Color plugin onto the node, and then you make your adjustments as necessary. But the very first thing I do here is go to Output Color Space and change it to Rec 709 and enable Purple Edge Remove and Saturation Correction. So that's just about all I do for the ZLog Color tool. This gives me an initial conversion and I can see where I'm at. I know that I needed to start doing some primary corrections and some overall contrast work, and that's where the primary adjustments come in, and I do that on another node, and I use the color wheels here, and I'll use lift gamma gain, and I'll basically just bring my gain up, maybe bring gamma up a little bit, and possibly drop my lift down. Now I do a very long push and pull game when it comes to the lift gamma gain wheels, and I do that with the Davinci Resolve micro panel, which is a physical panel. I'll do a review on that at a later point possibly, but I find that this panel definitely takes grading to the next level. So after that, I jump into my secondary corrections, and secondary corrections will usually be something like contrast and pivot, saturation, as well as shadows and highlights. So you'll see here, I'm just bumping up my shadows and highlights, or bringing them down in this case. Now you'll notice before I did my secondary corrections, the highlights
from the headlights are clipping here. The whites are clipping here on the histogram. None of the black is clipping, but the highlights are getting lost. So we fixed that in the secondary node by bringing down the highlights ever so slightly, bringing up the shadows a little bit to gain a little bit more detail on the trees and a little bit more in the grille of the car. Next up, I have a look node, and the look node is where I start dialing in mid-tone detail, a little bit of color boost, as well as some saturation if needed, but I'll also pump in some more contrast, and I'll work with contrast and pivot basically together because those two things are pretty much married together. When you're adjusting contrast, you're adjusting pivot as well, and again, it helps when you have the micro panel or one of the other panels. So once I've got a general look dialed in, I'll start to make some additional adjustments, and for instance, this is an adjustment to the car itself, and I use what's called a power window. Now, Davinci Resolve has a set of different power windows, but you'll see here I used a radial power window, and I just gave it a very soft edge, and you can see that right here by hitting Shift H. This will bring up a preview of what your selection is, or your key. This is essentially a key. So you'll see it's a very soft gradation, and I gave it a softness of about 16 or so. And this allows me to use something like curves and just to lift the car up just a little bit. You see, it's not much, but I just brought the car up ever so slightly just to drive some focus towards the eye here. So taking the look a little bit further, I will add what's called a creative LUT, or in this case, a film stock. Now the film stock I used was a default film stock that comes with Davinci Resolve, and that is the Kodak 2383. And all you have to do is simply drag it onto a new node, and so you have your LUT. Now, one thing to note here is that once you drop the LUT on, it's going to come through very strong. Now, most beginners will just completely ignore all of the adjustments that you have to make before this, and they'll just drop a creative LUT. Now, that's definitely not what you want to do. You want to pay close attention to everything you've done beforehand. You want to do your Rec 709 conversion, your primary adjustments, secondary, and start building a look. Then you add your creative LUT. So in this case, what we do is we take what's called the node key and lower the key output. Now this acts as something like opacity. If you're used to Photoshop, you know about layer opacity. So in this case, this is what we do. We just drop the key output to a point where we start to get the image. It still has a little bit of a look, but it's not overpowering. This is about where I left it, and this was pretty strong overall. Now the way we fix that and counteract how dark it made it is we add a global node here, and this is where I do some simple lift gamma gain and maybe a little bit of curves if needed, but this is where I bring back some of the shadows that I've lost. Now you also notice here that that LUT also blew out those highlights. So here I can go in to my adjustments, bring the highlights down again ever so slightly. This way I'm not clipping those highlights. Now moving on to the next shot, I'm not going to go over this node by node, but I do want to show you guys a quick little tip that I used here. In particular, you could see it right about here. Now this is pretty much copying the same exact grade as the shot before with a couple of different adjustments, but here I added a glow effect. Now the glow effect is ever so subtle, and you probably wouldn't notice it if I didn't tell you, but right here you'll start to see it once we get to the sun shining through the trees here. You'll notice it's very subtle, and it adds a nice glow to the overall image here. And I didn't go too overboard when it comes to the glow effect. I just reduced the spread, shine threshold, and brightness, and that's just about it. So now moving on to a slightly more complex shot, I'm going to break it down node by node again. And of course we started with the noise reduction, which I'm going to keep off, and then move on to the ZLog color tool, the exact same process as before. And then move on to the primaries and the secondaries, where we start pumping in some contrast and some saturation. And then I'll add a vignette. Now this is a tricky part here because I added a vignette and I tracked it, of course, but then I added an outside node, and you see the vignette basically used curves to darken the outer edge, and it kind of creates a focal point. But then I added an outside node, which basically allows me to reverse what I've got here. See here that anything I'm seeing not grayed out is what I'm affecting on the first node, and on the outside node, it basically reverses the mask or the key from the previous node. So this allows me to take the car and punch it. So I'm using a very slight curves adjustment here, and I just punch it up. Then I made a matte here with the car, and I used that matte to drive the output from that matte to basically reverse everything inside of this node, and this allowed me to adjust the wheels. Now the wheels are a very important part of any car, so as you can see here as I zoom in, I just used some highlight recovery or shadow recovery to bring back some of the wheels. Then I made a saturation layer, and I used the hue versus sat to bring down some of the color in the car. So this way, beforehand, the car looked a little bit dingy. This allowed me to get a very clean white as well as clean blacks. And the way I did this was just simply by using a selection right here with eyedropper, pulled the color, and it made some points on my curves here, and I just bring them down. Then I wanted to bring some of the yellow up in the calipers as well as the little emblem here, and did so with that. And then for the blacks, I used Lume versus Sat, and then used the eyedropper again, and then pulled down my shadows. So this way I get clean blacks. And then added the Kodak Creative LUT, keeping in mind to adjust my key output if needed, with some global adjustments. And then I also used the glow here. The next shot I'm going to cover here is the shot of the wheel just sitting here, and I wanted to go over this shot in particular because I wanted to show you guys how I'm bringing focus to a particular product. So let's say that this was an ad for in-curve wheels. I'd want to do my best to showcase this wheel, seeing it is the focal point of the video. You'll see that when I took this shot, I made sure to give it some leading lines that point the viewer's eye directly to the wheel. And we're going to emphasize that a little bit more when it comes to color grading. So we're going to turn all the nodes off, of course, noise reduction, ZLog color, and move on to some primary wheels. And you'll see that I made this a very flat image overall. I wanted to bring out as much as I could in the wheels with just my primary wheels, lift, gamma, and gain. Move on to the secondaries, and we start adding some contrast, a little bit of color boost to get the foliage, the grass, and the trees. Started lifting the shadows and bringing down the highlights. Also contrast and pivot, and a little bit of saturation. Then I move on to my look node, and the look node is again just playing with a little bit of color in the gamma, a little bit more contrast, a little bit more pivot, bumping up the shadows a little bit more, pulling down the highlights. And then I used parallel mixer just to clean up the whites as well as the blacks using the curves. And this is where I'm using power windows again, just to bring some emphasis to the wheels. Now you'll see here, I added a power window, and this is where I bumped up my highlights and shadows substantially. And I believe I may have even added a little bit more contrast here, just to do my best to make this wheel pop. And of course, I did have to track power window, seeing as it is a moving shot. Then topped it off with the Kodak LUT, and then a global adjustment to bring everything back. So now moving on to the last shot that we're going to review here, and that's this night shot of the car. And I'd want to hit the bypass here and then show you guys what the shot looked like straight out of camera. And you see it's very flat. There's not much to it. And we're going to disable bypass, turn off all these nodes. Now, of course, we did need to add some noise reduction. I'm going to leave that off. So the first thing we did was, again, ZLog color, and you'll see it did convert it to Rec 709. I didn't do anything here. I didn't add any saturation, made no adjustments whatsoever. I just wanted to take advantage of the purple edge removal, saturation correction, and the output color space. So I noticed off the bat that it is crushing the blacks. It's not completely clipping, but it is very, very dark. So first thing I'm doing is the primaries to try and bring everything back up. Same thing, lift, gamma, gain, nothing too aggressive. So then I move on to my secondary node, and this is where I started to play with a little bit more lift, gamma, gain, just to try and get it overall brighter. And I didn't mess too much with contrast or anything on this shot. Added a little tiny bit of saturation, but then when I moved into my look node is when things start to really change. And this is where I added some contrast and pivot. Those, again, always work together. And then I started to add a little bit of shadows and highlights. I took the highlights down and brought the shadows up. But what you really see here is that I started adding some color into the lift and the gain. You see I added some warmer tones, a little bit of orange into the gain, and then add a little bit of teal or blue into the lift. Then we move on to the next node, which was to make the white just a little bit cleaner overall. And the same thing with the black. Now we did this before using the curves. Same situation here, using Lume versus Sat or Hue versus Sat, same situation. And then I'll move on to the wheels, try and pop them a little bit more. And also the grill. Did the same exact thing we did for the previous shots. We just tracked the grill, tracked the wheels. Added a vignette, an outside node for the car, and a global adjustment. And then topped it off with a glow, just to give it that added touch.
All right, guys, that wraps it up for episode number 2 of this series. If you enjoyed this video and you learned something from it, do me a favor, give it a thumbs up and share it on social media. If you have any questions about what I did in this video, drop a comment below and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. Also, I'd like to invite you guys to join the Driven Films Discord channel. That's the best way to get in touch with me, and I'd love to see you guys there, so the link to the Discord channel is down in the description below. But most importantly, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon next to it so you don't miss out on the next episode in this series, the Sound Design Breakdown. Until next time, take care.